Har du styr på, hvad der er City Hall? Er det derinde?
Ja, det tror jeg. Okay, så er det lige med, hvordan fanden finder vi den rigtige motorvej at følge her.
Barbara London er en af de første 25 piger, der overhovedet bliver rekrutteret til at flyve for det amerikanske militær. 25 piger, der er top-tunede piloter allerede inden krigen.
Hun var kun 21 år gammel, og en ganske lille, lidt buttet, sød pige, som rent faktisk havde kommandoen over samtlige kvindelige piloter i Long Beach.
Det har da virkelig været nogle store udfordringer og barske ting, hun har været igennem.
I had a total of 6 girls killed in Long Beach. First girl that was killed in the program was one of my girls at Long Beach, Cornelia Fort. She was in a flight of 4 or 5 different airplanes, she and 4 or 5 boys. And I don't know whether they talked about this beforehand, but they would meet out there someplace and all fly formation. But this one guy got pretty frisky, and he was flying around her and making movements around her airplane. But as he did it, his wing clipped her wing, and she spun in and was killed.
Ikke nok med, at hun var ung og skulle gå ud og fortælle familierne om de her dårlige nyheder, så levede hun jo også et liv, hvor hun selv løb en risiko hver dag, hun satte sig op i de her fly.
Ding-ling-ling. She's still on the phone. She's on the phone all the time. It's hard to catch her in between. Barney Fisher Aircraft.
I dag så driver Barbara en jetbusiness, hvor de køber og sælger fly.
My office is interesting because it's sitting almost on the exact spot that the WASP office sat during World War II. But this is roughly where we were during World War II. This guy that owns the Aztec flies charter in a Turbo Commander and a 340. What are these things?
That's our sleeping bags.
Oh, they are? Have you used them?
Yes.
Oh.
I used both of them because I slept out in the desert. Must have been cold. It's getting winter now, and how did you manage? You were flying during the winter.
We got cold. We had winter flying equipment, but we also found some little heaters about the size of a cigarette lighter that you could light, and they had I don't know what kind of a chemical in them, and we could put one in each glove and one in each foot, and at least it kept our extremities warm. While we were down. This wasn't as bad as flying in a PT, which had an open cockpit, where we wore helmet and goggles and we had our maps out in our lap with the wind blowing through the cockpit, and we're looking out the side at the snow, trying to figure out where we are in an open cockpit airplane with the snow. That was cold. We were getting towards the point where the war was winding down. And eventually there became, instead of being a dearth of men pilots, which is the reason we were hired in the first place to come in and fill in for those that we didn't have, all of a sudden we had an excess of men pilots. The feeling began to build, why are we letting women fly all these military airplanes when we have boys that we don't have a place for? So consequently, when this bill came up to Congress to give us militarization, it didn't pass because they felt now was the time to send the girls back home. Now the problem with that was that the morning I went home, none of those boys that were clamoring for my job were P-51 pilots. So consequently, they couldn't come in the next morning and take my airplane to Newark. So the morning I left, there were 60-some fighter airplanes sitting on this airport that didn't get delivered that day because my girls went home.
What's for dinner? That's what Bill Johnson had been thinking about all the way home from work. Would it be?
Well, after the war, it was kind of hard to decide what to do. And I didn't want to go back to clerking in some store. So I did finally get myself a job in San Diego. But I stopped in Long Beach and got together with Jack and decided to get married instead. This is my oldest daughter. She probably looks like she's about 1.5 or 2. She flies for, she's a captain, an airline captain. She's been with the airlines almost 24 years now. One of the very first women doing what I wanted to do. After the war, I applied to be a airline pilot. And they sent me some applications, but they sent me applications to be a stewardess, and that really wasn't what I had in mind.
If I say the two words future and aeroplanes.
Well, look what we've done. Aviation is hardly 100 years old. And look what we've done. We've already gone to the moon, so anything can happen. You'll be more interested in space travel than you will in jet travel at your age.
Love to be a captain on a space shuttle.
Rocketed into space. Rocketed into space.
Afsted fra Long Beach, der havde jeg sådan meget fornemmelsen af hende som squadron commander. Så hun ville blive ved med at spørge mig sådan, hvad er din plan? Hvad vil du så gøre? Hvornår tager du afsted? Hvor langt vil du flyve? Det var sjovt. Følte sig lidt som en wasp.